What's up, people? It's January 15, 2026, and I'm holding a movie that is not available on streaming. Which, if you want to watch a whole bunch of Nick Cage movies like we've been doing, and you look up all the stuff he's done some weird movies. One was a foreign film we just watched that was a bunch of military involvement and pretty brutal attack on a underage girl and this and that. But yeah, that movie was at least fairly interesting. This one was just weird. Um, so I had to buy this as like a site that sells these. I don't know if they're knockoffs or what they are, but I'm not going to mention the site name because I'm not sure it's legit. If this is like in the public domain or what, but that was the only way I could find this movie, and all told, it cost $17 to watch it. So this is the uncut, unrated version, and there's some stuff online about this movie being quite risque, and it I guess had an NC-17 rating when it come out, and that was way early in his career. Um, but that said, I don't know. I guess it was pretty dirty, but it wasn't like I thought of it when I read all the stuff online about it. Compared to some stuff that's allowed to be out today, I don't know that it would have got an NC-17 rating now. Maybe it would have. I'm not so sure. I mean, there's some scenes in it that are, you know, showing a lot of nudity and stuff, but I mean, you see a lot of those kind of, they walk through a bar and see some strippers and stuff like that in regular R-rated movies. I guess there was a little bit, maybe more than that. But what was weird about it, in the frame of the story, in your mind, you'd think, well, this might come across as kind of, um, you know, attractive or whatever, but it wasn't really. It come across more kind of gross. And I'm not picking on the people in it or anything. There's some pretty good named actors and actress in this, um, and she's quite attractive. I'll say that, but it isn't like you'd think of it where you watch it and it's like, oh, well, that's hot or something like that. It wasn't really that way. It was kind of, I don't know, it was just weird. The main thing that I noticed about this movie right off the bat is that the dialogue was idiotic. The first, when Nick Cage, Judge Reinhold, and what's her name, Erica? I don't know her name by heart. Erica Anderson. They all got together in the same room, and these guys are like reunited friends, and they acted like they hated each other, which I thought, you guys are supposed to be friends. And then the woman acts like she hates Nick Cage too, and it's like, why is he even there? There's no reason for him to be there. They weren't reminiscing or anything like that. And Judge Reinhold character just come across as so stupid. Like, it played like he knew what was happening throughout the movie, but at the same time, like he didn't know what was happening throughout the movie. And I couldn't figure out if he was just playing it off or if he was really that stupid. Um, Nonetheless, the dialogue was the absolute worst part of it because the things they were saying were just didn't make any sense, really stupid, and it came across that whoever wrote this or directed it or whatever has some major issues, um, in regards to how they react to women and how they interact with them. They seem socially awkward if they think that was normal dialogue, and a lot of control type of issues. And it seems like in your mind, you'd have to believe that to be an attractive dude to a female, you have to be like a total control freak. And I know we've got movies, where there's some like, what was that popular series with bondage in it about 5 years ago? And I can't remember the name of it anymore, but where he like put her in some restraints and stuff like that. I mean, I guess that could come across, they said, as like mommy porn when that series was out. This guy had that same kind of creepy vibe, the Nick Cage character, and but it was just not. It didn't. It just didn't make sense to me. It came across like, you know, why would he be friends with this dude? They're so different. They don't have anything in common whatsoever. And then at the same time, the play between the girl and Nick Cage was like, it just so awkward because half the time she's despising the dude, and then all of a sudden, just like that, it's like, no, I'm interested in you again. It's like maybe people are that schizo, but it didn't come across realistic. And herein lies my problem now. I spent $17 on this knockoff DVD or whatever, and I'll tell you, for 17 bucks, it ain't worth the rent because I'm going to end up throwing it away, I think, because with an NC-17 rating, I would offer it up to anybody in this channel, but I can't mail it to somebody because they might not be, 18 and over. I don't know who that person would be. And then the other thing is, I don't want to donate it either because it's NC-17 and they might not be able to distribute it or get rid of it. And I feel like I just wasted my money watching this. When you stream something, most of the time, these older movies, they're like $3.99 or whatever, or sometimes even free on these other smaller streaming platforms. But 17 is pushing it. If you want to just see something that's in somebody's catalog, I wouldn't recommend bothering with getting a DVD just to fill up a landfill with this. I'm asking for suggestions on how I could get rid of this and still feel like it's not improper or going to end up in a landfill somewhere. If you got any ideas, maybe a library, take it. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas. But as far as like nostalgia trip wise, if you're like a huge Judge Reinhold or Erica, what's her name? Erica Anderson or Nick Cage, maybe you'd want to see it. If you wanted to see what she looked like naked, that might be worth it for you, but I kind of doubt it. There's places on Google you could do the same thing. And what else could I say about this? There was a couple of cameos from who was that guy? He's a real famous actor. He plays kind of like bad guys a lot of times and stuff. And that was kind of funny seeing him. He was like a jail inmate going out with a chain gang and stuff, and he showed up a couple times. The name isn't on the back of the thing, but he's somebody to recognize. That was pretty funny. The funniest part, probably the dumbest part, was the very ending. And I won't tell you what happens, but it was kind of like, okay, that's how it's going to end. There was an opportunity for them to end it a different way in a swamp. And that was kind of weird too. The whole movie's just weird. I wouldn't say it come across like amateur hour. It had positive aspects to it, I suppose, but the script and the dialogue just messed it all up. And it was just, I don't know why they even had to focus so much on getting an NC-17 rating or whatever. They should have just mellowed it out a little bit so that it could have been an R-rated film, and then they'd probably be getting it on streaming, making some money off it even now, but they're probably not making anything off of it now because no one wants to stream it, I guess. Yeah, weird. If you're going to do a Nick Cage review and watch all his movies, I would just say skip this. It ain't worth 17 bucks. On the other hand, if you could find it somewhere for $2 or $3, eBay or something. I've thought about selling on eBay, but it's not worth the trouble. Anyway, suggestions are appreciated, and this was really not that great.